Hello everyone and welcome to this tips and tricks gameplay video for Workers and Resources Bohemian-Moravian Highlands map. In this map I will be talking about how to set up your starting city and how to work with existing infrastructure on this map. Of course, this map can be played like any other Workers and Resources map, in that you will just build your starting city next to a border crossing and then expand into the interior. However, that is not how this map is meant to be played. It's meant to be played with the existing infrastructure and settlements, and expanding upon what already is on this map. And from this viewpoint I will approach this video. There is the starting city, Okříšky. I will talk a lot about it, but before I get to that, I want to address some things which really come even before you actually start playing. And one of them has to do with population. I already talked about it in one of the showcase videos, but I need to address it also here because it's sort of a big deal. Throughout the map, I not only use these old city houses and these old village houses, but I also use the regular residential buildings. And they are unique in a way, in that when you start with existing population, they will of course spawn also in these buildings. But unlike population that spawns in old city houses or village houses, population in these residential buildings will start as being active. This means that from the very start, people want their needs like food and health satisfied, which of course is impossible because you haven't really started playing and suddenly people from all around the map want something. This means that from the very start you will be bombarded by quite a lot of messages about things like low loyalty, no access to healthcare and stuff like that. There is no way to really do anything about this. So my advice is, upon starting the game, just let the game on fast forward and wait about 2 months. You can see now that I'm on 7th of April 1960, roughly a month and a half after the start of the map, and at the moment there is 24,000 inactive workers and only 5 active workers. Upon starting the map there was around 3,000 workers. So yes, just know that this is what causes all those messages at the start. Just let the game run for 2 months, month and a half. It will drain some money, but it will drain around 5,000 rubles in total, which is not really that noticeable. The second thing, of course, has to do with there being a lot of buildings throughout the map, and every building has a chance to catch on fire, which of course you don't have any means to extinguish at the beginning. So the second advice is to set the fires to normal and not frequent. If you set it on frequent, the buildings all across the map will catch fire much more often, and it's I think it's just a little too punishing and there's no need for that. Secondly, something to the environment. I mean like something important for the gameplay. The villages and towns all across the map have some basic infrastructure laid down. This basic infrastructure usually means that they have a shop or grocery kiosk and they have a bus station. There are some exceptions, but really not that much. The aim of this is of course to have these villages be able or be ready to be used very early without much tinkering needed. The logic behind it is that all these things will allow you to use these villages as a source for the workforce, and without necessarily starting the construction in the particular village. Speaking about shops, there is another important thing. All the buildings in the game are switched off. which means that, for example, this school has staff set to 0, so the people just won't go into it. Bus stations are closed, and all the buildings that can be visited in a game are switched off. This results in the need to open them. So if you want to use any of the villages, you need to open the, if there is a school, if there is a shop, and if there is a bus station. You need to open it, otherwise the village, of course, is inactive. Secondly, this goes also for residential buildings. Although the people will spawn in these buildings, all the residential buildings that are not village houses or old city houses have this allow citizens to move into this building option unticked. This results in the people, when you play, not moving across the map to free residential buildings, which of course gives you more control over where these people will go. So yeah, if you want to use residential buildings, like the shops, like schools, like everything, you need to open them. The same goes for technical services. There are technical services and similar buildings, like construction offices, but they all have their working ranges set to very low, which means, like other buildings, they need to be activated. Just keep that in mind. Next, all across the map, there are warehouses and some basic infrastructure for moving goods. These warehouses usually have goods already in them. The reason for including this is, of course, so that it does not need to be imported, and you can just start playing with some resources. This goes for the shops. Sometimes the factories have some material that they need very close by, sometimes in the factory itself, sometimes in a storage nearby. And also there are vehicles scattered across the map. There is some logic to them, as in, when I included them, I wanted them to be useful, but not always. But know that, for example, that there are these dumper trucks and open trucks, which are here to transport the bricks from this factory. There are some vehicles here, and well, they are there all across the map, and they are of course ready to be used. Now, as I said, the starting city is the city of Okříšky. The city of Okříšky is important for two reasons. Firstly, it's the city that is fully set up to work right from the very beginning. And secondly, it's the transportation hub of the map. Like in real life, Okříšky would not be at all an important settlement if it were not for the large railway station that is present here. As far as infrastructure is concerned, Okříšky is connected to an electrical power grid. From the very beginning, Okříšky is powered. The electricity all across the map is supplied from this point. This point at Mastník, there is foreign power connection. It's set to import, and it's set to import something. It's not switched off. There is high voltage line that goes from Mastník to this power station, power distribution station in Červená hospoda or Žípov. This power station, of course, again exists in real life. And from then there is this left side that goes to the west with medium voltage wires, and it then supplies electricity to Okříšky, to Nová Ves, to Petrovice, to Heraltice, and all these other important starting villages. In the description of the map, there is included a map of the infrastructure. So take a look at that, because it will give you overview over how the electricity is laid down. Apart from this connection in Mastník, there are two other, let's say, like branches of electricity infrastructure. One is starting in Jestřebí, and it goes to power substation in Rychlov, and then it goes to Brtnice and to Brtnice leatherworking factory, which is a fabric factory. It's included, for example, if you wanted to start not in Okříšky but somewhere in here, so Brtnice also can be switched on at a moment's notice. But unlike the power connection at Mastník, power connection in Jestřebí is switched off at the beginning. The last power connection is at Okrašovice. It's also switched off, and it's aimed to power the Třebíč industrial area. The reason for that is that since I use medium voltage wires, and Třebíč itself is powered from this power substation, the industry would be much more hungry power-wise, so it has its own separate source not to interfere with electrical network in the city. So, to sum it up, if you build anything in Okříšky, it will have power because Okříšky is powered from the very beginning. Now, water. Okříšky has a water infrastructure built, so it can have, I will get to that later, running water, and it has sewage system. I will talk about the water first. Okříšky is meant as a starting city, but there is one village that is crucial, without which it cannot really work, and that is Heraltice. Heraltice is a small village to the west of Okříšky, and it is important because there is a water treatment plant. There is even further to the west, there is this locality called Troják, which is a set of water wells. And these water wells supply water to this water treatment plant, which, like all other buildings, is not open at the beginning. And this water treatment plant has a water loading station, but it also has piping leading to Třebíč, all the way to Třebíč, but it has its own branch that leads to Okříšky. To this water tower, and then to the substations. From the outset, it does not have any water in it, so to play in Okříšky with running water, of course you can still play without water or get it somewhere, distribute it with the trucks, but if you want running water, it is important to start or like open the water treatment plant and play with the village of Heraltice. It's not important to do anything in the Troják area because it's the small wells that don't need workers, they just need electricity, and they have electricity. There is one thing notable in Troják. There is also this big water well which has its own piping that goes all the way to Třebíč, and there is a separate underground water storage which does not lead anywhere. It's here, so if you, for example, will have some industry that needs untreated water, you still have something to use in Třebíč. Otherwise, it's not really important, and you can ignore this sort of like dirty water branch altogether. So, keep in mind that Heraltice is probably the most important village at the beginning, because it provides fresh water for Okříšky. About the sewage water, I already talked about it in the showcase video, but I will repeat it here. There are these small rivers that go and end up in the Jihlava River, which is the proper river with water. Some of these rivers also function as sewage pipes. which means that they have piping underneath them to sort of simulate that rivers were actually used to get rid of wastewater. And the same is the case with Okříšky. Okříšky has several sewage tanks which all feed into this river. And this river then feeds into Jihlava, and at the end there is this discharge station which safely disposes of the sewage. So Okříšky has working sewage system right from the beginning. And there is more of these rivers. So if you start building somewhere in wilderness, you can just search for these rivers, and some of them can be used to get rid of wastewater. Also, if you don't want, for example, you want to play here and don't want to connect actually, or don't have the means to connect these villages to these piping, at the start of every pipe there is a discharge there is this loading unloading station. So it is possible with cars to just service all these villages and bring the sewage here, and then it will flow into Jihlava river. Like all the villages, this goes also for the villages, of course, near Okříšky. All the villages have water substation and sewage tank. They are not from the beginning connected to any pipe infrastructure, but they are there to ease the trucks in servicing the villages. So if you start, for example, in Okříšky and you want to also bring the manpower from Petrovice, you will see that, oh, okay, so Petrovice may be an exception. Okay. If you see, for example, Krahulov, you will see that there is a substation, there is a sewage tank, and you can just send the trucks to get rid of it, and it will be easier for the trucks than to service the individual buildings. So that's it for the sewage. Regarding heating infrastructure, there is none. It's not needed because the old city houses and village houses, they have a heating on their own, and there is very little other buildings that need the heating. So if you want to do some residential construction, you need to provide the heating. And now we can finally get to the starting city of Okříšky. The city of Okříšky has this small shopping center filled with resources. It also has this warehouse connected, which can be used to supply this shopping center, but it's also used by, I will get to it later, but it's used to supply other villages. It has all the necessities like clinic, a school, a kindergarten, and a fire station. There is no police station in Okříšky. There is this playing field, and yeah, overall you pretty much just need to switch all these buildings on, and the city will work. Not ideally, but it will work. There is also technical services building, which, as I said, is sort of switched off at the beginning, but it can be used to service all these buildings and all these citizens. But the important part of Okříšky is the part around the railway station. As I said, there is a railway station which leads to Mastník, that's the border with the Eastern Bloc, and to Vladislav, which is a border with NATO, and Rozseč, which is another border with NATO. There is a connection to warehouses, so the trains can be used to bring the resources to Okříšky without much difficulty. There is a depot at the Okříšky train station. At the depot contains some small trains that you can use from the very beginning. There is also this freight station, sort of built as a decoration, but it can be used because, well, it's a functioning cargo train. Apart from these, there is also few trains running all across the map. They are here to sort of simulate the traffic that would be going on in the region. So this is the fast train from Brno Jihlava, both cities outside the map bounds. and there is more of these trains. So you can just leave them be and sort of have them as a decoration, as a traffic to make the map more lively place, or you can use them for whatever you want because they are perfectly functional trains. The same goes with some trucks. There are some trucks and they are like they don't do anything because of course all these stations are switched off, but they just go around the map. To make it look like there is something happening on. You can again leave them on. In that case they will consume some fuel but not much, or you can just send them to the depot or use them as you want. Yeah, so there is these storage spaces and this storage space, but the most important part about Okříšky is the construction offices. There are two. There is this that provides mechanisms to do some digging, and then there is this regular 12 vehicle construction office. It has some mechanisms or vehicles right from the start, and it has all the important inputs already fulfilled. So it takes resources from these two storages, and then it also gets a concrete and an asphalt from somewhere, and I need to talk about it. The asphalt plant is here. It's located, it's built as a part of the brick factory. However, even if you activate Okříšky, people will not work in this asphalt plant because it's not reachable on foot from any of the residential buildings in Okříšky. Instead, it's reachable from this free bus stop. So in order to activate the asphalt plant or the whole brick factory, you need to set buses from either the central Okříšky bus station or Okříšky railway station. You need to set the buses to go here to allow people to work in the asphalt plant so that the construction office can get its asphalt. As for the concrete plant, it is located in Nová Ves, where it was, sort of, historically. Unlike in Okříšky, this is only closed. If you open it, people will start working on it because it is reachable by foot from the Nová Ves station. Yeah, there is also quarry, but you will need some trucks to dispatch some trucks to bring the gravel to the gravel processing plant. The gravel processing plant is also reachable on foot, and there is also a bus station should you need to bring workforce from elsewhere. So yeah, in order to start the construction office, you need to have Nová Ves working, and you need to get people to work at the asphalt plant. Apart from that, the construction office is working. It gets its workers from this railway platform. So you need to switch it on, or you need to open this bus station and change it to take workers from here. Apart from this construction office, there is also a railway construction office as a part of Okříšky train station. It has the materials, it has some vehicles, so yeah, again, it can be used from the beginning. Apart from these construction offices, there are no other construction offices on the map with one exception, and that is Old Sewage Station, which also has a railway construction office, so it can be used to, I don't know, like double this track or work on some rail infrastructure here, whereas the rail construction office in Okříšky can be used, like, you know, very close to Okříšky. That was all that I wanted to say as regards the starting city. You now know where to start, how to set or open the city, where to get resources for the construction office, and that you really need to keep your mind on Heraltice because it supplies you with fresh water. I hope that you will not run into many issues. I playtested it few times. I think Okříšky is working without any issues. I never got so far as to playtest the Třebíč city, so it is possible that there will be some issues. I don't know, as regards the capacity of shops or schools, but it should be okay. Pretty much everything is provided, and I don't think there should be some large crashes. One of the things that I need to mention is that the culture buildings, which is the indoor pool and the gallery, they don't have any road leading to them. They are just standing without the people being able to enter. And the reason is that even if they don't have workers, for some reason the people, they wait in front, and it would activate people in Třebíč. So if you want to use these buildings, just build some basic road that leads to them. As of now, the people can't enter them. So yeah, and my final advice, or sort of like wish and advice, is that I hope you won't find the map too overwhelming or too confusing. I think you don't need to pay attention to this at all. I know there is a lot of buildings, and there are even some buildings which may seem like they are useful, but that was not the intent. My intent was to create an authentic environment in which you can play. And I wish you that you would play freely, and that you wouldn't feel constrained about the need to use this village or that village, and that you would just, do your thing and really not try to find much meaning in the layout of the map. The basic idea was to provide you with the map that sort of gets the feeling of being inhabited right, so that no matter where you place your factories or your new cities, you don't have this sort of undeveloped wilderness vibe from the rest of your map. So all across the map there are villages and roads and sort of like trimmed forest and stuff like that. Everything aimed to reinforce the idea that people are there, they are working, they are functioning, they are living, and you are pretty much only improving this countryside, not really colonizing it or building things from the ground up. So yeah, don't really keep mind to all the villages and their layout. Just play as you want to play. This map is here to sort of give you the tools to do it. So yeah, that would be all from me. I hope you have fun with this map. I hope that you will, of course, spend as much time in it as possible. If there are any issues, of course, you can write them into the description on the Steam page. And yeah, I hope you will have fun exploring this beautiful countryside in Czech Republic.